This is Synagogues of Tennessee Part 1. In this episode we look at Brentwood, Bristol, Brownsville, Chattanooga, Jackson, and Knoxville. As the sign indicates, our first stop is in Brentwood and its congregation Mika. It is a Reformed synagogue. Brentwood is a southern suburb of Nashville and has about 40,000 residents. This temple started in around 1992. Services for Shabbat are held both Friday evenings and Saturday mornings. Philip Flip Rice is the main rabbi, and his co-rabbi is his wife, Laurie Rice. Our next stop is B'nai Shalom congregation in Bristol. Bristol can either be in Tennessee or it could be directly across the border in Virginia. These two sister cities have a combined population of about 44,000. Its spiritual leader is Rabbi Arthur Rutberg. For Shabbat, it has both a Friday evening service and a Saturday morning event, which can either be a Torah study or an actual service. The congregation was organized in 1904. It was originally an Orthodox congregation. The synagogue serves the Tri-City area. This includes Bristol, Johnson City, and Kingsport. The congregation officially switched to the conservative movement in 1959, although it has hired rabbis from various educated backgrounds. By 1970, it had officially switched to the Reform movement. In 1979, this synagogue in Brownsville was added to the National Register of Historic Places. It is Temple Adas Israel. It was built in 1882 and claims to be the oldest synagogue building in Tennessee. It was never able to afford a full-time rabbi and has relied on lay leaders. Services are held Friday evenings once a month. We move over to Chattanooga with 3 Jewish houses of worship. Chattanooga, with a population of about 173,000, is in the southeast portion of the state. This building is Congregation Beth Shalom, an Orthodox shul. Its rabbi is Shaul Perlstein. A 2000 study indicates that there's about 1,400 Jews in the area, and 3 different flavors of synagogues to choose from. This congregation was started when the members of B'nai Zion forced the switch from Orthodoxy to conservative affiliation in the early 1960s. The building that was originally at this location was bombed and destroyed in 1977 by a racist. He was eventually caught and convicted for this crime and others he had committed in St. Louis. The synagogue was rebuilt on the same site within the year. The number of services attendees has shrunk over the years, but members continue to worship regularly in this synagogue. Here is the B'nai Zion congregation, and as we mentioned earlier, it is affiliated with the conservative movement. Shabbat services are held on Saturday mornings as well as Friday evenings, and there is a weekly Wednesday evening minyan. And the first Sunday of each month there is a bagels, lox, and tefillin service. Susan Tendler has been its spiritual leader since 2012. Okay, it's not often that we admit that we made a mistake, and we wonder how many of you who are viewing this are shaking your heads and saying, this is wrong. So the mistake that we made is that the Orthodox congregation Beth Shalom was taken over by the Lubavitch Chabad organization. They have revitalized the congregation, so much that the building that you saw earlier was not large enough to accommodate all of its programs and events. We believe it has bought this building and have shifted the synagogue and its programming here. And Rabbi Shaul Perlstein is the spiritual leader and director of this Chabad house. The third flavor of a synagogue in Chattanooga is Mitzvah Congregation, a Reformed temple. It was started in 1866. This building was erected in 1928 and designated as a Tennessee Historical Preservation Site in 1979. Terry Appleby is designated as interim rabbi until June 2017. Shabbat services are held both Friday evenings and Saturday mornings. Jackson, Mississippi is 70 miles east of Memphis and has a population of about 67,000. It is also home to Congregation B'nai Israel. The history of the congregation dates back to 1885 and has graced this location since 1941. The structure was renovated in 2014. Shabbat services are held on Friday evenings. John M. Kaplan serves as rabbi, but not during the summer. Knoxville is in the north-central part of the state and has about 185,000 residents and 2 synagogues. This one here is Heska Amuna, an egalitarian congregation. Alon C. Ferenczi is its rabbi. The congregation has several days during the week morning services, and one should check their calendar for details. There are no Friday evening Shabbat services during the summer. The congregation was chartered in 1890. It started out as Orthodox, and by 1960 it switched to the conservative affiliation. As I had suspected, its name is a mistake. The founding fathers were not that good at writing in English. They intended Chazkei Amuna, which means strongholders of the faith, but had written Heska Amuna and have not bothered since then to correct it. We shift over to Temple Bethel, a Reformed congregation. It started in 1864 as the Benevolent Association of Knoxville. In 1875, it officially became affiliated with the Reform movement. The building shown here was dedicated in 1957. Scott Salson is the rabbi. Howard A. Simon, Rabbi Emeritus. Shabbat services are held on Friday evenings. There is a Saturday morning Torah study and a full service on Saturday morning when there is a special occasion such as a bar or bat mitzvah celebration. This concludes this episode of Synagogues of Tennessee. There is another episode to follow. So, bye for now and see you real soon.